I'm going to basically see if you really are a good guy.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to interrogate you.
Yeah, of course.
And now, here are your hosts, Ken and Gisella.
All right, welcome. This is Ken Rochon. We are actually at the Dolphin Stadium, thanks to Bert Oliva, and I've been practicing his name all day, so I'm very excited about it. So I met Bert on a cruise ship, and he decided to have an asthma attack, and I said, you know what, that's just a fluke. You know, I couldn't be that bad for him. But then I come out to Miami, and he throws his back out. So am I a bad influence on your physical being?
No, you just give me the limitations I need to push a little harder.
Thank you so much for being on the program. This is, I guess, serendipity, because who would have known that someone would introduce me to Orly. We'd be on a social wow factor.
Right.
I'd meet you and roughly 11 or 12 other special leadership thinking people.
We meet each other, and I just invite you to my house.
You
just like that. You know, can I stay there? Sure.
You know, you've been doing this for 21 years, and you know that you're one of the guys that not only has been doing this a long time, but you were when there was not that many people doing this. So I'd love to start off the program by just asking what actually got you in this game, and how has it transformed your life?
I was first of all, I want to thank you for the opportunity of being on your show. I mean, we really take nothing for granted. We appreciate everything. What I tell people is what you see is what you get. It all really started with my mom coming from Cuba. She was an immigrant. She was fleeing the Cuban regime, the Fidel Castro, and my father happened to be communist. And she brought me to this country when I was 11 months old. She came here because she believed in the American dream. And seeing her, and in the process of her being a maid, she had really no education. She went out, and we would go to these beautiful homes, and we would, I would be her helper. Like I saw the video of your son, and I was on the other side. I remember her cleaning the floors, and she always taught me through the actions that she took. One day I'm gonna have a house just like this, Mom, and she would always say, yes, son, whatever you want. She never told me no. And basically my career started when I used to work for a company called Xerox, and they taught me a lot. And I was very fortunate to meet people like Les Brown and Brian Tracy.
And then he said, you know what, I want to be the best speaker in the whole world. So we started going around the world, traveling and meeting all these people.
Going to every single event that I can get my hands on, listening to every audio CD. In fact, listening to tapes. Right. Where you had to go to side A and then side B. You had to, make sure you went through the whole process.
Meanwhile, I was in school, and I got my degree at the University of Miami in business administration and marketing, and we started applying all those things immediately to our business. He was presenting our campaigns because we had an advertising agency, and people would always say, hey, why don't we fly you out to Vegas and you can present the new campaign, because they just wanted to feel his energy. And we'd go to parties, and he'd sit there and speak to one person. All of a sudden, there'd be like 20 people around him. I'm like, we should be getting paid for this stuff, babe. He's got this charisma about him that I didn't understand when I was 20, and I understand it now. And I think it's my job to make sure that people get to see his passion, get to share his energy, and that's what I do for the business.
There's so many people out there, and the business of self-help has grown so much, immensely. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry. When I started, it wasn't like that. It was either Anglo-whites or Black Americans. You had, Tony Robbins, Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar. You had T.D. Jakes, Les Brown, and there was no space for a Latin guy called Bert Oliva. I said, perfect. This is my spot. 21 years later, I'm traveling the world, speaking to thousands and hundreds of thousands of children, and living the quality of life that we love. And our children are part of our life. And you're about to visit our home, the home that we have here in South Florida, and you'll see it is what it is. We don't create a perceived value type of lifestyle. You get to meet us. Either you love us or you love to hate us. But at the end, you love us no matter what. And that's what we're all about. I'm doing what I knew I could have done when I had that belief system. Because I truly believe everyone has greatness inside of them. The only person that holds them back is who?
Themselves.
Exactly. And I've done that in rooms with over 10,000 people, and they always say the same thing. Life is way too short. What is it that you really want to do? And whatever it is, if you're not doing it today, go out and do it.
Let's talk about BOWA World. That's very important. part of your life.
Yeah, BOWA World, it started off as being Bert Oliva Wealth Academy.
Eventually, we started teaching leadership, development skills, soft skills, sales training, because we have a lot of sales training background. And we started reaching out to corporations that wanted us to teach their employees on how to connect, how to do team building, how to get along with one each other, how to communicate better. So we teach a lot of neuro-linguistic programming, NLP.
But it's not all about Bert. That's why BOWA is Be One with Another. It's about the world coming together and teaching everyone that it doesn't matter where you're at, where you were born. It's where you're going that's going to make the difference. At the event that we're having, you'll see the transformation that I'm able to do with people. And I'm not talking about selling books at the end of the room and so forth. No, that's not what we're here about. We're all about it. We're more about creating that massive change in such a short period of time. And I knew everyone wanted to be an entrepreneur. Well, not everyone made it as an entrepreneur. Well, now there's another shift. Everyone has become a life coach. So what I tell people is, be careful. Do your due diligence. And, the internet is there. Use it as a tool. Do your background check. See if they're legit. See if they've ever been around that long. If they really know the tools. I mean, I met relationship coaches that'll tell me, I'm a relationship coach. I'll say, well, how long have you been married? Well, I'm not married. You have children? No. What type of relationship are we talking about? So, and I'm sorry to be so blunt. This is such a beautiful industry. And it's changed my entire life, and people take it for granted. And they think that this is just a fad. This is not a fad. If you get into self-help, it's for the rest of your life.
And I think you put it so eloquently when you said, there's so few people that are actually committed to actually being on stage and transforming people's lives, and that's result-based. Because they're concerned about the results of themselves. You can see it in them, and you can see it in the audience that they're transforming. So
we put our whole life online. We have our own reality show. We fund our own show. You can tell the difference between someone that's just doing it and someone that's living it and they're about it. That's the connection we had.
This is amazing. Thank you so very much for all you guys are doing. And my heart is accelerated here because I can feel it. I heard something about a reality show.
And quite honestly, what we're trying to show people is that you can live your life in positivity. Negativity is going to creep in no matter what, and you just got to kick it in the butt and kick it to the curb. So we want to show people that we're a family, we're a team, we travel around the world, we have our trials and our tribulations, and this is how we get over it. And we're hoping that it can help other people that are seeing how we're living our life and letting them in behind the scenes, letting them see how hard that we actually work, what our work ethic is like, what our family is like. A lot of people ask us, how do we live such a great quality of life? And I tell them it's because we went to the seminars. It's because we were the students. It's because we continue to be students. And it's because we believe in what we're teaching people. Those techniques, we try them at home. We test them on our children. We test them on each other. We test them all the time. And we try to abide by them and live by them. We make mistakes. We're not perfect. And our lives aren't perfect by any means. But we apply them. We recuperate faster from the hits that life gives you, because we're actually doing what we're teaching people. And I think that that's what sets us apart from everybody else in our industry, is that they're talking, but they're not living what they're speaking. And we try our hardest to make sure that we apply that not only between ourselves and with our team, but with our family and our friends as well.
You guys are one of the most dynamic duos because you're as strong as Bert is. I'm guessing you kind of made him.
No, I'm stronger.
You're stronger. Okay, I'll buy that.
When you bump into him, he's such a big person, and his personality is so big, but then he's a very shy guy. He's got the biggest, most beautiful heart that I've ever met of anybody in this world. Not a lot of people get to see it because he's so intimidating. He's 6'2", he's tall, he's dark, he's handsome.
That's why I know.
So a lot of people don't really get to see who he is until, you make that personal connection with him, or he's there doing what he loves to do, sharing his passion. When he's on a stage and he's in front of people, he just lights up. I know when he goes into automatic pilot, when he's speaking on stage, and you feel the connection and you look at people's expressions, and I go, okay, he's doing it. And that, I think, is my ultimate moment and why I do this. Because I feel that energy, so it's almost a little bit selfish, because I feel everybody's energy and I feel people's lives transforming. I'm getting chills right now just thinking about that moment when he turns on. That's what I live for.
Yeah, people have a misperception of who I really am. They believe that, I'm arrogant, or, you're wearing these expensive suits or no, it's not about that. It's just I'm really shy. And it just, people look at it and they're like, nah, he won't talk to me. No, I do. I'll talk to anyone. I'm in the people business. No people, no business. I love people. I really, truly do. Sincerely, I love people's stories. I don't just ask questions to find out about your background. I really want to know, what was your transformation? What was your turning point? Because I believe that I can learn something every day, even though if it's someone that may not be doing the stage for over 21 years, it may be someone that could be the janitor of a certain location. The day you think you've learned everything is the day you've lost everything.
Valerie and I actually are one of our business partners and best friend. She was asking me the other day, because I love meeting people all the time, and I'm really the extrovert between Bert and myself. She's like, were you always that way? And no, I wasn't always that way. She's like, well, what changed? What makes you so friendly with people and connect with people all the time? And I said, I read Bert's book. And she looked at me, she's like, no, are you kidding me? And I'm like, no, Bert wrote a book called Empowering Networking Techniques. And that's when he first started speaking. He started teaching that class. And I had to edit his book, and we'd write it together. And I really paid attention to the research and everything that Bert was trying to teach everybody in there. And I started applying those things, because I've always been a heavy-set woman. So it's really hard, because you feel self-conscious all the time. And being that I was so big, I had so much self-confidence, and people were like, well, how are you doing this? I'm like, I'm reading Bert's book. People didn't want to believe me. I was reading my husband's book. And that's what really helped me really connect with people and understand the dynamics of relationships.
So you shifted to be an introverted person. Whereas I
definitely.
think, Bert, I relate to you. I am an introverted person.
But see, that's not what I see when I met you.
Yeah, but my mission and my purpose in life causes me to step out. But I have the same love for people you do, which is the authenticity. Yeah. And the authenticity is what you're speaking about how few, we'll just call it, are on the mission of speaking on a stage to actually cause a difference in the world.
Yeah.
Okay?
A lot of people have gotten into this business just for the celebrity aspect of it.
But for you, this is your calling, right?
Yeah.
This is my calling. Like it's yours.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. And that's such a distinction from just knowing that you're going to be successful at something, okay? And the distinction from you have great skill sets, or you're a great communicator.
It ties in, though, because
I know,
you do have to polish your,
no doubt about it. But the calling, using all of them, is just like unstoppable.
The calling is tough because you sacrifice so much through the good and through the bad. It's not always, it's not always peachy keen when you're following your calling. You get tested so much.
I'm blown away by how you support your husband. I would love for you to give our listeners or wives out there that is probably listening right now and say, how does she do all of these? How does she, keep going when there's things that she doesn't like about her husband, when he's traveling, when there's times that she wants him to be there? How do you deal with that?
Many years ago, when we discovered that we were in advertising and it was a cutthroat industry, we realized we weren't cutthroat people. And Bert and I wanted to transition over into the world of motivation and public speaking. And we said, it's going to take a massive sacrifice, and our marriage is going to be on the line in order for us to do this. And our children were very small at the time. And I said, listen, I'll hold down the fort. You do what you got to do. And he was gone 3 weeks out of the month.
Every month.
He was basically on an airplane or a car or a bus somewhere in the country or around the world. We've always been such a good team. And I told him, listen, I'm going to back up your dream, and eventually it'll segue into my dream. Because I wanted a political career. And I figured, okay, I'll help him with his dream right now, and he'll build the audiences, he'll build the people, we'll connect with more people, and then eventually I can branch off into politics. And 5 years into this, I was like, I don't want to go anywhere. This is it. This is what I want to do for the rest of my life.
You, Bert, when you're gone that many weeks.
Well, now she's stuck with me.
Yeah.
Now the children are older, I get to go.
But back then, we're talking about people that are just starting to look at, jumping off the cliff and making that sacrifice.
It's not easy.
And so for you, you're actually getting a very small quantity of hours with the family, and so you have to maximize the quality of that experience. So when you got back, I imagine you just
engaging. I mean, you would listen to them. When my son, my daughter would say, Dad, I want to share this new drawing with you. I'll be like, in there, engage. This is their moment, their time. A lot of times people, especially children, you have issues with your children is because they want the love and affection, and sometimes not just a hug and a kiss. They just want you to listen to them. Mm-hmm. They want you to look at something. So you'll see, it might happen today. You go to the house and you'll see Dylan come out of nowhere. He's 14 now, and he'll come out and, hey, Dad, let me show you something. Okay, but Dylan, I'm in the middle of a meeting. But Dad, They always knew. Even, you know what's funny?
Right.
My children knew that even when I was coaching, and I'm doing private coaching, giving me my hug and my kiss, and then they would walk away. That sent a signal to them that no matter what, they knew they were always important to me. Until this day, they're just like that. They'll walk in from work or from school, and they'll come in and they'll introduce themselves and, hi, I'm Dylan, or I'm Sabrina, or I'm Miles, nice to meet you. And they'll even engage in the conversation if you guys connect and so forth. Why? Because they understood that they're just as important as my career. When I first started my career, I mean, you had Dylan that would dress like in the vest with sneakers, and he was actually security. He was like, what, 8, 9 years old?
Not even, probably
by
6,
7 years old. So he's a security guard, which means if he didn't see a band in your arm, he would actually go ahead and send you to Sabrina. Sabrina was actually registration.
Right.
And then Miles started getting more involved in doing smaller speeches. Like what you want to do is bring your son to some of your speeches, and they became
Miles
part of
actually
it.
spoke to 10,000 children in Belize in May of this year.
And it changed his life.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because I told him to do it. None of my children have to follow my path. What they need to do is follow their dream.
I know you have a bunch on your website, so that's a nice tease for people to go see that. But what are some of the ones you?
Well, the quote that I believe in is live life and don't let life live you. We spend too much time letting life guide us. Just enjoy it, embrace it. Every day is an amazing day. I mean, my back I'm in massive excruciating pain, however, not at this moment. And I'm not on meds or anything. I'm just high on this moment right now. I can feel that vibe. I can feel the connection with your wife, yourself. I saw the video with your son. This is where it all happens. I mean, I was on my way to the hospital right before the show, and I probably have to do it tonight. I'll see how it goes. But if it goes like this, I'm great right now.
But I'll carry you around like I was earlier. All right. How about you? What is a quote or two?
My quote is live and love.
Live and love.
Because if you're not loving, you're not living.
And we're hearing that theme music pretty close. So Gisella, thank you very much for connecting. I'm sorry we left you off the show for a little while. And we're going to have you on for another show, Bert, and be ready to do the triangle. I mean, I don't want you getting on a second show and
from another mentor, which I forgot to talk about, but we'll talk about him next time.
Yeah, I can see it. In the second show, we're in it, and you go, no, we're probably going to need a third show to get that triangle in there. All right, well, thank you very much for everything you do. You have definitely become super great friends to me, and I look forward to the next step. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Awesome. No, thank you, man. We told you.
We did pretty good. So amplified is exactly what it means. We are taking a message and amplifying it to the world. We believe that most messages in the world are secrets because they have no distribution. And when they are secrets and they have no distribution, the leader, the author, the speaker, the musician, or the artist actually gets frustrated because they're not successful because no one knows about them and they quit. So we change that.